welcome back to Create, Nourish, Move. This week we've been talking about immunity, and the weekly challenge was to eat more turmeric. So I'm going to share a recipe with you to make your own golden milk. It's a really great recipe to boost your immune system. You can have it in the morning or before bed at night. It's a hot beverage, and I'm going to tell you how to make it. I'm going to show you the way without a blender. So unfortunately, we don't have a way to use our Vitamix or a blender here in our camper van, but you can do it without, and I'll explain how you can do it with it as well. So we'll start from scratch. We'll actually make our own turmeric paste and then add all the spices and the milk to it. We have a natural refined coconut oil, turmeric. These are the raw form right here, but just honestly it's for decoration because the powder form works better. It's more concentrated. We have fresh ginger, a little bit of cinnamon, almond milk. It's always best if you can make your own almond milk in your blender or Vitamix, but again, this is store-bought because we don't have access to doing that here in the van. You can use sweetener. I like to use a raw honey, just a little bit. Cardamom pods, so if you can get it pre-ground, that's best, but I'm gonna go ahead and take these open and crush them up. And black pepper, so that's really important for the assimilation of the turmeric. So that's all you need. You don't need bananas or leeks, they just happen to be back here, but they're good for you anyways. So we'll go ahead and get started. So like I said, there's two ways that you can make the golden milk, one with a blender, one without. The one with the blender, you just throw all the ingredients into the blender and put it on high, so you get a frothier, kind of like a latte consistency to your golden milk. The way that I'm going to do it is make the paste first. So it's going to be a 2-to-1 ratio of the powder with water. And it's supposed to be in a small saucepan, but we only have one pan, we only have one pot in the van, so we're going to use that. So remember to be careful with your turmeric because it's really yellow and it does stain. So I'm going to just take one big tablespoon. This is probably more than a tablespoon, but just make sure you're doing 2-to-1. See, I'm going to get a little extra in there. So 2 tablespoons. That should be enough. All of our utensils are already stained from turmeric, so they will stain, but washing them with baking soda helps a little bit. So I'm just going to stir this so the water gets integrated, and pretty quickly it'll turn into a paste. It might take 10 minutes or so because you want to cook all the water out. And then after the paste is made, you can save it. I'm going to save it in a jar to keep in the refrigerator, so it will keep for a few weeks in the fridge just as a paste. It's actually, to me, it's easier because when you use the blended version, you have to heat the milk up anyways once everything's blended together. But this way, you already have the paste, and then you just heat it up with the spices in the pot when it's done. So I'll leave this going on for a few minutes covered up, and you can turn it down a little bit lower. In our van, it's always hard to finesse that. It's fussy, but go ahead and let the water evaporate. And I'm going to chop up some ginger. So when I cook, I'm not really a big fan of using a recipe and doing measurements. So I just kind of do what tastes best. But you can just take a chunk of ginger. It doesn't have to be too big. We're just making enough for 1 cup, so you can always double this recipe. But it's like a piece about 1/4 of an inch big. And you peel off the skin. So ginger is really great for the digestive system, and when we're talking about immunity, we want to keep digestion optimal. So in Ayurveda, which golden milk's an Ayurvedic drink, so it's Ayurveda, I've mentioned before, it's Indian medicine meant to balance the elements in your body based on what you eat, based on herbs, based on your lifestyle and the seasons. So this is great for winter because it's a heating drink and it boosts the Agni. So Agni is digestive fire, and in order to keep our immune system working well, we need to honor our digestive system and keep that moving well, because basically the whole center of our health universe is in the gut. Okay, so once the water's evaporated out mostly from your turmeric, you can store the leftovers. So we'll only use about 1 or 2 teaspoons of this because the turmeric's concentrated, so it's really strong. So you can go ahead and put it in whatever jar you're going to store it in. Okay, I'm just going to leave the amount of turmeric paste that I want to use in this pot so I don't have to wash it out, don't have to waste water, and don't have to measure it. Just enough, about a tablespoon or 2 teaspoons. And then you can close this up and it will stay in your fridge for a few weeks, like I said. You can go grab your almond milk and put it in the pot. So this is 1 cup of almond milk. Okay, so our almond milk is in here with the turmeric. I'm mixing it up, stirring gently. I'm going to add in the ginger. So it's about, I like a lot of ginger. You might not like that much, so I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of ginger. And just stir. And to assimilate the turmeric into the body, to get all of the anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiviral properties, black pepper. So cooking the turmeric is important. The main important things are heating the turmeric, black pepper. It increases the absorption by, I mentioned the other day on Instagram, 2,000%. So I do like a few cracks here of the pepper. And a fat. So turmeric's fat soluble. So I'll also add in a little bit of coconut oil. About a teaspoon, just a little bit. And again, in the blender, the chunks, it won't be as chunky. But you can just stir, and you can even strain out if you don't like the chunks in it. You're able to strain out the ginger pieces. I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. About a teaspoon. And so I love cardamom. So I added the cinnamon and then I added some cardamom. So you can use the pre-ground kind. I didn't have that, so I just used the pods and crushed them up. So if you have like a mortar and pestle, or I like to blend my spices in a coffee grinder. It's kind of nice to have a coffee grinder that's just for spice blending. So it's really yellow. We'll let it simmer for a few minutes. And if it's too concentrated, you can just add some more milk so you can get it to taste how you like it. This time of year, we tend to get sick, and it's so important to take care of the immune system. Ayurveda has so many great ways that you can do this, and golden milk is one way, using spices, taking care of your digestive system. So when we first started van life, we went to a fermentation festival, and it was so fun, and they had so many great foods. But now I'm learning how important gut health is and how important that is for our immune system. So adding in fermented foods to your diet can really help stave off getting sick this time of year. So once it comes to a simmer, we just turn it off. We let it cool a bit. And you can add in some sweetener. I like to add the sweetener, especially the raw honey, after it cools a little bit. And just enough to make it palatable for you. So just put a little bit. Some people like it without a sweetener. And if you prefer not to have the chunks of ginger or cardamom, anything that you added in, you can strain this either in a cheesecloth that will be yellow forever or a regular strainer. And again, you can just put this in the blender, bring everything together, and it'll be frothy, kind of like a latte. Another thing I do to keep my immunity up this time of year is take ashwagandha. So this is an Ayurvedic herb. It helps with stress. So as we know, stress, it inhibits the body's ability to fight off sickness, and there's a lot of problems that come along with being overstressed. So this herb really helps. It also helps to increase the amount and diversity of platelets the body produces, so that boosts the immune system. I also take triphala. I don't have that on hand, but it's another Ayurvedic herb that helps with the digestive system. So our golden milk is finished here. I'm going to pour it in to my Yeti cup. So turmeric is antifungal, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. Most of our chronic pain and disease comes from inflammation, so we want to keep that at bay. And turmeric is a really powerful natural ingredient. It's even said to have some cancer-fighting properties. Our immunity is so important, especially this time of year when the weather's getting cold and we're exposed to other people's germs who are sick. So we need to keep ourselves our best so we can honor our holy grail of health and our wellness system, and golden milk can really help. Let's give it a try.
So is it?
It's really good. It's warming, it's nourishing, it's a little bit spicy from the black pepper. I like the warming of the ginger and the sweetness of the cardamom. So this earthy flavor of turmeric's not for everyone, but you can, again, add in more honey or a natural sweetener that you like to get it to be palatable for you. But I personally like the earthiness of it. And I'm going to go drink this. Thanks for tuning in. And as always,